Okay, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll be talking about a concept that might not just change the way you think, but also the way that you operate your life. But first of all, let me tell you a little story. So, first of all, this is my brother, Abdurrahman. He's between the audience, actually. And Abdurrahman got a little problem. He really, really likes playing video games. And that's totally normal for kids his age. But the thing is that he can spend maybe 5 or 6 hours continuously playing games, and that's totally fine. But he also faces another problem, and that's the fact that when he tries to sit down and do some sort of homework or some daily task, he cannot do it for more than 30 minutes. And I'd say that's pretty normal for kids his age, but it's still a problem that sparked the idea in my mind. How can we make education more fun? How can we make education more like Minecraft, the game that he really likes? Well, first of all, let me give you an example. So imagine this. You're a kid, you just came to school, and you sign into the system that you're supposed to kind of have a streak system. And you check your daily tasks, and you realize, oh, okay, today I have 7 or 8 tasks that I should do. And you check your first daily quest, and it's Algebra Dungeon, for example. And as you enter the dungeon and you're exploring through it, you see that, okay, the first thing that I have to do to get experience points to level up is I need to solve these quadratic puzzles. And this sounds way better for a child than just going to classes and solving some questions on the board. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called gamification. Now, gamification is the act of adding game-like factors into normal tasks. Now, this makes them more intriguing, more fun, and it makes children and adults alike want to do these things even more. Now, gamification is really effective, and we can see its effect in something that I'm sure most of you would be familiar with. It's Duolingo. Now, Duolingo uses a system, the streak system, in a very effective way. Now, I have friends with over 300 days in their streak system. Now, the way it works is that for every day you enter consecutively, you get 1 streak point. And if you stop using it for 1 day, it goes back down to 0. Now, for me, it was quite illogical. Why would someone spend so much effort entering for 300 consecutive days to keep this number up when it doesn't change anything in their lives? Now, this is a phenomena that we can see recurring again in another thing, and that's Kahoot. A lot of people like to use Kahoot, especially here we have a lot of educators and a lot of students. And our favorite part as students of using Kahoot is being able to choose our own username. Now, this is very funny for us because most of the time we try to choose something that is funny. And we work really, really hard to get to the top of the leaderboard just for the teacher to read out that funny name. Now, it's really illogical here because you're working really, really hard to do something that will get you no specific gain. Now, the reason this actually happens is not just some mysterious phenomena, it's explained by science. And that's the fact that these specific things kind of tickle our brains in a specific way, and it stimulates our reward system. So, here we go. How does it work? Now, this is important. So, our brain releases dopamine every time we do something that it deems worthy, or let's say something that is fun, something that made you laugh, something that made you happy. Your brain instantly starts releasing dopamine. And sometimes it starts releasing dopamine not because the thing that you did is worthy, but simply due to the fact that it got used to releasing dopamine in this specific events. Now, the best example I can give you of this is doom scrolling. It's something that a lot of people in my generation are facing right now. Is the fact that when you're on your phone and you're using something that does some sort of short form content, Like for example, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. You tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna watch 2 more and then I'm gonna stop. But you don't. Now, why don't we stop? Well, it's because our brain now correlates the act of scrolling with releasing dopamine. So we cannot stop from scrolling because we're constantly getting these happy pheromones getting released in our brain. Now, you can see here how strong and effective dopamine is on our brain. Now, why not utilize that power to make ourselves be capable to study more and work harder? Now, gamification is already utilizing that, and we can see its usage in our day-to-day life. Now, first of all, Duolingo, as I said previously, brings back 500 million people every day to continue their streaks. And this is a huge number, as for most applications, their daily usages is way less than that. And also, it's been proven that, by the US government of education, it was said that the class score increases by 34% when gamified learning is used in class. Now, another place where gamification is being used is the military and medical field. Now, in the military, gamification is being used, and the first time I actually personally saw an example of that is when I watched a movie called Top Gun Maverick by Tom Cruise. And in that movie, Tom Cruise is training a couple of pilots to do a specific mission through a simulated terrain. And this terrain is very harsh, so they naturally cannot replicate it. So they simulate it and they give them score and points and the time that they have to achieve it in. Now, this way, the army or the military can train to be less stressed, and they can be more ready for specific emergencies, scenarios, and sort of strategies that they have to conquer. And another place where it's being used is the medical field. In the medical field right now is being used to help medical students train so that they can do surgery with 40% better retention. Now, what that means is that they can do surgeries for a longer time with high focus. Now, for us to be able to use gamification correctly, first of all, we must know what's the problems that we are facing right now in our traditional learning. Well, the first thing that we face is that it's passive. And what that means is that it's really focused on memorizing and on lectures. Students feel like they're not very intrigued to join because I don't have to think much. I just have to memorize and it will work out eventually. And another thing is that it's boring. Now, it's boring because just simply due to the fact that it doesn't use our brain's reward system. So now my brain is not getting, I'm not releasing any sort of dopamine. So there is no way that I can stay focused and intrigued while experiencing this lesson or lecture. And the third thing is feedback. Most of the times, teachers don't really focus on what the students really need or what they're struggling with. They focus more on what the agenda needs to cover or what we need to do. Now, let's talk about the future of gamification. How can we now take this and apply it into our actual classrooms? Now, gamification can be used with virtual reality and augmented reality to make it more immersive. So imagine this, you're in a class, and as a teacher, with all of your students, you're in a virtual world. And then you want to, for example, show an animal, or you want to talk about some math equations. Now you can show these things in real life in front of them. And as we all know, every student learns differently. Some students prefer to learn by reading. Some students prefer to learn by watching. Some prefer to learn by experiencing, myself included. And this is really important because with the usage of adaptive AI, we can now sort of make a modular system where not only are we going to change the system so that we can control how difficult it is, but we can also change the way that it's being explained. Now, this is really effective for the future. And it's so effective, as a matter of fact, that right now the gamification market has been increasing, and it's expected that by 2030, the gamification market will reach $30 billion, which as a game developer myself, I can tell you is a huge number in that field. Now, so it's really important here for us to start using this and utilizing it in our real life. And I'd like to tell you guys all this. Imagine your life as a story. And it's a sort of a game. And you have a lot of skills, and you have missions, and you have quests. Every day when you wake up, you have missions that I have to do. I have to go to work, or I have to go to class. I have to go back and, I don't know, clean the house. We have specific chores, specific work, specific education-related things. Think of all of them as a mission, as a quest, and conquer them daily. And the best thing about games is that even if you fail, you can always try again. And it's really effective here. Now, I'd like to leave you guys all with a challenge. Take your day-to-day list and turn it, as I said, into a gamified version. So make it and give yourself experience points for every certain task that you finish, and check by the end of the week what level will you achieve. Okay, thank you all very much.